Hello, folks. So, in the previous video, I covered the introduction of Kubernetes, what exactly it is, and how can we spin up a new Kubernetes cluster, including like several nodes. So, in our case, we created only two node cluster of two nodes only. But depending upon the plan which we are choosing, we can increase the count of the nodes as well. Okay. So now in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to our Kubernetes cluster using PowerShell or command line interface. So let's go inside our cluster first. All right. So one way to connect to our Kubernetes cluster is by either using command line interface or PowerShell. So you can see this particular option here, greater than underscore sign, which is Cloud Shell. Let's click on that option. Okay, so now you can see here there are two options, PowerShell and Bash, which is CLI, command line interface. You can choose any of these two options. Let me choose PowerShell here. Okay, so it is showing a message. You have no storage mountain. Okay, so I think we need to create the storage first. So let me see that option. Let's do one thing. Let's create the storage here by clicking on create storage. That's one good thing of Microsoft Azure, that you are provided a direct option to create the storage here, since you don't have any storage mounted, right? So that's one best thing, because you don't have to navigate away from this window and just create the storage account, storage mounted, and then after that kind of proceeding from there onwards. So let me move this up. Okay, so now we are on Azure PowerShell window. It has mounted the storage in the background. Okay, you can see this message initializing your account for Cloud Shell, requesting a Cloud Shell, and connecting to a terminal. So now we are connected to the terminal here. Storage account details, you can see here. This is the storage account subscription ID. It is rolled out in the East US. The resource group name is this, and the subscription ID is here. Okay. So what we can do is let's type a command aks get credentials to log into our cluster. Okay. So aks get credentials and the resource group, and we'll provide the name of our resource group, which is let me try to do one more thing. Let's do one thing. Let me provide my previously created resource group name. Okay, so ml resources, and the name of the cluster we need to provide here. So name of the cluster was this, ml cube az. ml cube az. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now you can see the message merged ml cube az as current context. Okay, let's type another command kubectl to see the details of the nodes. So basically what I need to do is kubectl, and if I want to get the details of the node, then I can type kubectl get nodes and press. Let me show you. Let's clear everything so that you will be able to see clearly. So kubectl get nodes. Okay, so here we can see the details of the nodes here. Since we created only two nodes, okay, so you can see the details of those two nodes here, right? So let's get our cluster ready. You saw like details of the node, so let's get our cluster ready to deploy some lines of code on deploy those deploy that code on our cluster. And generally we do this by using a YAML file, yet another markup language file. Okay, so I have this existing YAML file which I got from Microsoft Azure Kubernetes documentation website. Okay, and this YAML file contains the metadata. Not only this, in fact, every YAML file contains the metadata information like CPU, memory, port number, number of containers, and basically tells where to deploy in the cluster. Okay, so let's uh, get ready with deploying some lines of code into our cluster. All right, so let me show you the content of the file which I actually downloaded from Microsoft Azure Kubernetes document site. Okay, so this is the file. Let me do ls. Okay, so it is this file. Okay, let's see the content of this file. So let's do cat azure bot.ym. Okay, so you can see the content of this file here. Okay, so this file, YML file or YAML file, has two parts. One is a backend and another is front end. Okay, so front end. So here we have basically service which runs a backend, and another service which basically runs front end. So in this file we have two services which will run on a cluster. And if you see this image, okay, let me show you something. So this image Redis, this thing, let me scroll up a bit. So this image Redis, okay, this actually depicts where it gets the code from. So here backend is an instance of Redis, which is service used for caching purpose. Okay, front end must use caching, this particular caching service to store frequently used elements of web page. For example, images, any video content. So any content which can be stored for faster access in cache. So if we scroll down, okay, we have so if we scroll down, we have, there is one more image. So here, this one, this is for the front end. Okay, so you see there's name Azure Word Front right here. Okay, so this is a front end, and this image is basically this is the image Azure Word Front, and with the tag v1. Okay, uh, so this image is something which we are getting from Microsoft repository, this one. So if you see Microsoft slash this Azure Word Front, so this is the repo. Microsoft / Azure Waterfront. So this image is available on a repository called Docker Hub. Okay, so you can basically download this image from here. So this is the one, and if you see the tags, you will see the latest tag is v1. This one, v1 is the latest tag. That's why it is being shown as tag v1 here. Okay, and you can basically get the details of this particular image from this link, which is https://hub.docker.com/r/microsoft/azure-board-front/tags. Okay, so this is the link. So backend basically comes from Redis and front end comes from Docker repo as shown here. Let's type let me clear this. Ls. Okay, so these are the two. One is cloud drive, another one is this file basically. Okay, now we want to deploy this particular file to our clusters, Kubernetes clusters, right? So what we can do is we can type a command called kubectl, okay, and then apply, and then file. So -f denotes the file that we are going to provide the file name here. Okay, and let's see. So let's see what will happen when this command is run. Okay, now you can see this command has ran. So what, when this command runs, then it will push the code. So it actually, when we ran this command, it pushed the code and services to the cluster nodes. Okay, the cluster, if you remember, we had two cluster nodes, right? So when you type, and if you want to see whether this code has been deployed to the nodes, respective nodes, well, how we can see is we can type a command called kubectl, okay, get service. Okay, so you can see here Azure name of the backend and the front end. Okay, and external IP is pending for this. So I'll come to this part. Okay, so now when we type this command kubectl get service, right? You would I mean, you are able to see the front end as well as backend service being deployed. Now both of these services have private IP addresses which are not accessible from the internet. But one of the front end service needs to have public IP address accessible through port 80. So it will be shown shortly here after it gets provisioned. So this is the front end app, right? And it is showing in pending status. The external IP is shown as pending here, right? So we will see, I mean, it will be provisioned very shortly. Okay, let's check the service. Okay, great. So now you can see the external IP is provisioned. Okay, let's copy this IP and paste it. Okay, so when we copy paste this external IP, you will see that application associated with the Docker Hub port front image. Okay, so let's type this IP. It is taking a little bit time. All right, folks. So we can see here that our app is opened now. the front end has opened now. It's weird that I was copy pasted. I actually copy pasted this particular IP on a browser which was in incognito mode. There it was not working, but now you can see I'm not in incognito mode, so this app is working. Okay, so when we click on cat, you can see the counter has increased by 1. If you click again on cat, it has been increased by 2. Similarly on dogs, the counter is increased by every time by 1. Okay, so when we click these button, it gets pushed to Redis cache as the backend. Okay, and if we reset, if we click reset, that means that it has been purged now. Okay folks, so guys, this is it for this video. Hope you like the stuff. I will be covering the next topic in the upcoming videos, so keep on watching. And if you like this video, then please hit the like button, subscribe for our channel, and share the videos. Thank you.